Hold on. What this dude that day is? Hey, yo, watch this dude. Ooh. Look at this guy, son. Yo, he just glided on his knees. Little Gumby looking motherfucker, man. He just glided on his knees, bro. Oh, man, you gotta love Broken Field 4, yo. Gotta love this game.
Oh, that's why.
What's good with y'all, man? It's your boy Tick, aka Game Fanatic, the Michael Jordan Game, and also the Rebel to YouTube Underground. I'm back with yet another video, man. I got some juicy stuff to talk about today. And a lot of news. The news I want to talk about, I know it's a day old because you got those little smart addicts that like to feel like they know everything. They were like, oh, that dude's old, Tick is so old. I know it was old. I saw it come out yesterday when everybody was talking about it. I just felt like I didn't want to post anything yesterday, so I'm posting it now. But anyway, there was a lot of good news that came, well, bad news for the consoles. And look, I'm not a console hater. You guys tend to think if someone talks good about PC that they hate consoles. Mind you, me and JG and Modern Wondergo all have consoles. Me and JG don't have the newer consoles. That looks beautiful, doesn't it? That looks beautiful. And this is on the PC, 1080p native, 60 frames per second. Okay, yeah, that looks beautiful. And I stood there to see if I would die from that, and I actually did. I found out that you actually will die from that. But anyway, we're not haters, man. Look, I have an Xbox 360. JG has a PS3, and he had an Xbox 360. He sold it. Modern Wondergo has a PS3, PS4, and maybe an Xbox One. I'm not sure. And a PC. I mean, we all have consoles. Those are glorified exclusive boxes. If we want to get some exclusives, we will get that console. You know, consoles are good for exclusive. We'll buy the exclusive, play it on the console, and then beat it, and then it'll sit there and collect dust. But for multiplats, PC is where it is, and more multiplats come out than exclusives, and it's going to look a lot better on the PC. And you know, they got good exclusives on the PC also, so it's a win-win. But anyway, man, I want to talk first about the whole, you know, just get this one out the way because it's short, but it's not what I want to talk about the most. But we want to talk about, you know, the watchdog resolutions on the consoles. I mean, 900p, 60-ish frames per second with the PS4. Get through throwing, kid. And 792p. What is that? What kind of resolution is that for the Xbox One? 60-ish frames per second. And like a lot of people were mad about this, you know. Then you had the damage control console people. I don't really care about resolution, but you were teasing, you know, Microsoft Xbox One fans before about not being able to run Call of Duty and stuff at certain reses and frames per second and stuff like that. But now it doesn't bother you. Yeah, okay. And running Rise at 900p, but now this game runs at 900p. It's not a problem. But that is a problem, man. But the thing is, you're not going to be able to run games native 1080p, 60 frames per second if you're not willing to put out the money. $400 is way too cheap to put a good graphics card in your system to run it. They'll be losing a lot of money if they, you know, put a bigger card in there and only charge $400, man. Like, that's not gonna work. So if you want to get better graphics, 1080p, man, you gotta be willing to put that money out there. But these companies know that the console consumers are not willing. I mean, y'all should be. Y'all put money in everything else, DLC, paying a year just to play your games online and stuff like that. Like, you would think you have the money. But, you know, they don't feel like you guys are willing to pay that much to get a console. I think you guys really are. I think they should do that. If there's a next generation that comes out, they should put, like, it should be like $800, and it should have, like, hardware worth $800 in there. And I think y'all buy it, and y'all have way better graphics. But they're not going to be able to run it with those cards they have in there. They're not expensive enough, and they're not powerful enough. So, anyway, let's get on to the juicy part of the news. Okay, so this is about Xbox. Xbox One finally kicked the Kinect, man. It's Kinect-less now. They're going to make a Kinect-less system that's going to sell for $399. And that's a fail to me, dog. It's a fail. One, they lied to us. They were saying that, you know, the Kinect was needed for the Xbox One. You couldn't work the Xbox One without the Kinect. I kind of knew it was BS, you know, from the jump, just because, you know, you could eventually let you be able to turn off the Kinect. So I was like, oh, well, it ain't needed now. So they finally decided to take that bundle away, and now they dropped the price to $3.99. So they put all that money that they had into that Kinect, and it would have made it so developers would have to use the Kinect, but now the developers don't. And on top of that, they spent all that money on the Kinect technology, and it ended up giving them a weaker console compared to the PlayStation 4. So now they don't have the Kinect, and they still have weaker hardware. What a failure. And I feel bad for all the people who bought an Xbox One day one, and they had to get the Kinect, so they paid $500. Get duped on. There it is. Finally got duped on. He wasn't even the thing. He opted out. But I died right after that, so it doesn't matter. But y'all, I really feel sorry for y'all because y'all paid that $500, man. Y'all paid $500 for nothing. You didn't really need the Kinect. And a lot of games didn't even use the Kinect still. So you have a Kinect just sitting there that you don't even need. And a lot of you guys were taking up for Microsoft land saying, you need the Kinect. You need the Kinect. Well, you don't need the Kinect. It's right there, buddy. You were lied to. And this is why I don't like Microsoft and I don't support them anymore. Because they're liars. They're just about money. That's all it is. And to be honest, since their system is weaker than the PS4, why are they still charging the same amount as the PS4? It shouldn't be $399.99. If anything, it should be $349.99. That is what I really think it should be, because it's like 25% weaker than the PlayStation 4. So I really honestly think they should drop the price at, you know, $349.99. Then I would obviously think about buying a system. Right now, I'm still not thinking about it because I don't. Why would I want to buy a system that's not as strong? I can care less about the exclusives. Sony's still going to get exclusives. So, and Sunset Overdrive is not a game that piques my interest. It looks like Dead Rising mixed with Infamous mixed with no, not Dead Rising. What's that game called? Left 4 Dead. And if you don't want to play it with friends, it looks boring. It still looks boring to me. I don't. It just looks weird to me. I don't really find it too fun just by looking at it. And I'm not being a hater. This is just my honest opinion. I played Dead Rising. I thought Dead Rising was gonna be great, and I got bored of it within like 30 minutes. So, yeah, whatever. But I just want to talk about that, man. Sound off in the comment section, man. How do you feel, man? If you bought an Xbox One, do you feel ripped off? If you don't have an Xbox One, how do you feel about it? Don't be biased about it. I mean, give me your God honest opinion. Like, do you think that they rip people off? And what's that going to do is it's going to make people not trust Microsoft more because of that. It's kind of like when Sega did the 32X and did the Sega CD and the Sega Saturn and stuff like that. You know, people didn't trust them anymore. And I feel it's going to be the same way with Xbox, man. They lost some trust there because people put out that money. They told people that they needed a certain device to run the system, and then it turns out you didn't need it at all, man. That sucks. That sucks. And please don't say PlayStation pushed the move on people, because you don't have to buy the move. It doesn't come with the console. You can get it if you feel like it. That just sucks, man. But anyway, man, like I said, sign off in the comment section. That kid got duped on. But it's your boy Tick, aka Game Fanatic, and you ain't gonna see this whole game because it's a lot longer than my commentary is gonna be. I'm sure you don't want to watch a good 11 minutes of gameplay, so yeah. But I'm about to be gone.